There was a period of my life where I just kept failing. It didn't matter what I did. And I felt so hopeless because I had all the inspiration. I had all the motivation. I had a friend in my high school that hasn't done the dirty in so bloody long that he can't remember. And when I was alone at night, I would just be asking myself, why do I keep going back? Why do I keep failing? I have everything here. I do all the good habits. I go to the gym. I have all the inspiration. Why do I keep failing? That is until I figured out this one thing about the universe that I'm going to be talking about today. After a while of this battle of fighting lust, I started getting confused and scattered because I was plugging myself with so much self-improvement content, trying to figure it out. What is it? Why am I like this? Coming up with all these fallacies and solutions and all this stuff that I was overloaded. I couldn't do it. For anything, my addiction got worse because I was stressing myself out. But it all comes down to this. For all of you out there that want to go on semen retention and don't want to fail, here's how to do it. I'm going to tell you how to do it. But first, we need to go over every little baby step. This isn't going to be a 2-hour long video. I'm just going to go back to what this is all about, really, realistically. So going back to when I was a kid and when you were a kid, and you figured out what adult content or sexual release was, or fapping, whatever the heck you were doing. The reason why us men, and including me, were doing it in the first place, started doing it in the first place, is to get out of a certain state. I fapped to get out of a certain state. Well, what state, Ashton? Well, not even a lustful, but an uncomfortable state. And now, what are these states really? States are something that your brain unconsciously moves in and out of. And it can happen without you being in control of it even, sometimes. One day, you wake up in a working state. Or one day, you wake up in a lazy state. Now, your state determines what you associate pain and pleasure to. If you're in a lustful state, you associate more pain to focusing on work than pain to checking a girl out or going to do the dirty. If you're in a working state, you don't want to do that, because if you do that, then you're going to skip the work because you're going to lose your hunger. You're going to lose your drive. You're going to lose your energy. You don't want to do that stuff. You're in your work state. You want to work right now. But the whole idea is that we use pornography or fapping or whatever the heck you're doing because we are trying to get out of a certain state. Well, Ashton, I do it because it's pleasureful, not because I'm trying to get out of something. Well, not really. Don't act like lust is pleasureful. Lust is uncomfortable. Lust puts you in discomfort, so you go and chase comfort. It's kind of like the same thing with everything. If I eat one cookie that's full of sugar and crap and it tastes really good, but it's really greasy and gross, the pleasure that I feel is not just the pleasure of the cookie. It is the chemical reaction that makes me want another one. All I really have done is just made me want another cookie. If I eat one cookie, I want another one. And then after that one, I want another one. And that state isn't good because you're just wanting something. You're just having these sexual thoughts and images, and you feel that you need to chase something. You need to chase pleasure. You need to chase women. You need to chase sex. You need to chase it. So you use fapping to get out of it. You use release to get out of it. None of it's comfortable. So what do we need to do? We need to find another way to get out of a certain state into a new one. How do we get out of the lustful state or the lazy state or whatever makes you do it? The insecure state. Something triggers your insecurity, and that's how you get out of your insecurity, through pornography or fapping. How do we get out of that into a working state or a productive state? Because that's what life is all about. If you're constantly chasing a fun state, or you're not trying to be productive, then go watch porn. If you're trying to find a one-night stand, go watch porn. Because that's what fun is all about. That's what the cheap crap is all about. You like going to house parties, you like getting drunk, you like doing whatever the hell you're doing, you might as well do porn with it, because that's the whole point. The whole point is that you're trying to get as much pleasure as possible. So if you're not doing that, you better get in a working state. And I want you guys to really understand this. That is all that lust is. It's not this chemical reaction that makes you chase this feeling that seems to make your problems disappear because you're distracted from chasing something that you're not going to get. What you're really doing is chasing a distraction. So if you keep giving in to lust, you're either stupid because you don't understand this, or you're just weak. When I was a really bad porn addict, I would do it a second time, then want to do it a third time, then I would want to do it a fourth time, then I would want to do it a fifth time. There was no end to it until, man, I gotta go to sleep because I got a day tomorrow where I do nothing. You see there? Nothing. The working state, right? If you're in a working state, you associate less pain to working than watching porn. If you're in a working state, you crave work. That's the whole idea. If you're in a lustful state, you associate more pain to working than pain to wanking one out or some shit. Or sitting in fantasy land thinking about asses, right? So understand that if you're lusting all the time, right? So you're trying to get better. You're acknowledging that it exists, the lustful thought. Yes, it's entered my head. Now I'm just going to let it pass. I'm going to let this one pass. If you let the initial lustful thought that you have pass, and another one comes right instantly, and then you let that thought pass, and another one comes right instantly, and if you fight this one off, another one comes instantly, you need to change your state. It's not about, oh, I need peace. I need to let the lustful thoughts go through. You don't like the way that you feel right now. That's the problem. Understand that. And the reason why you're caught up in all these lustful thoughts, or all these distractions, or all the TikToks, or whatever the heck you're doing, it's because you don't, maybe, are you tired? Are you bored? Are you stressed? What the heck is it? Because you don't need porn to solve it. And I dealt with this addiction just recently, so I'm just going from my experience based on what my experience was barely even half a year ago. So about 1 or 2 years ago, I would have these walks in the night because I was just so bloody done with it. I was like, what's wrong with me? Why do I keep failing? Why do I keep going back? I don't get it. I would have these late walks, just sitting in silence in the dark at a park. Just, what's wrong with me? Why? What is it? And this is going a little bit off topic here, but I'm going to tell you one thing that did help. My ADHD is severely bad. So through this journey of quitting fapping and adult content, I started taking Adderall. Now, don't take my advice right away. Just understand that if your ADHD is really freaking bad, Adderall will help. And sometimes that's what it is. Because your ADHD brain is so focused on trying to get the next hit because your dopamine levels are down here and the normal person's is up here and is trying to get here, that your whole mind is just clouded with these thoughts and you just, right? So be aware of that. But don't make that your excuse though. It's most likely not what it is. But I want you to answer one question to yourself. Ask yourself one question. How do I get out of the lustful state? How do I get out of the uncomfortable state? What do I do? How do I switch the state of my mind? I usually get out of my state by taking a deep breath and changing my perspective. Even though I don't want to, I get up, I do a little bit of editing, I start working. And I ask myself, is adult content gonna help me with working? The answer is gonna be no every time. Well, Ashton, if I do it, then I'll be able to focus better. No, you won't. All you did was get out of that state. But I'm trying to teach you how to get out of that state without doing the dirty. Because that's what you need. Because getting out of that state with that way is just a weakness. There are unhealthy ways to get out of states. There are unhealthy ways to distract yourself from the state that you're in. Right? So find a healthy one. Change your perspective. Put yourself in the shoes of the man that you want to be that is focusing on work. Pretend that your work, whatever you're doing, pretend that the foundation, your YouTube channel, your marketing, your business, whatever it is, pretend that turns into a person. Your business turned into a person. Now I want you to become that person. Invest in it. Think about it. Be it. Or it doesn't have to be a business. It can be all of your goals turned into one person. It could be your future self. Become that person for a minute. And you got to think really hard, because sometimes it's pretty hard to change states, but you got to think about it. You got to change your state, man. Unless if you want to fail and be a little failure. And then once you're invested, just think, how will porn help me with this? How will chasing a girl help me with this? How will chasing that girl over there or chasing the one night stand help me with this? It just simply isn't. And sometimes you need to obsess over it to become it. That's what this is all about. You want to be into a working state, you need to psychologically make it so that you gain energy from focusing on your business. Because if you lose energy from focusing on your business, you're not going to focus on your business for very long, and the idea is going to become boring. Every day, you should be gaining interest in what you're working on. Whether it's working on your physique, whether it's getting into a fight, whether it's a business, whether it's whatever. And if you do all those things correctly, what I've essentially done is taught you how to want to do something without wanting to do it. The reason why you keep going back to porn is because you don't trick yourself into wanting the things that go against it. I can't just sit here and say, well, I don't jerk off because of my focus, my clarity, and my discipline. That's not how it works. You need all those things for something bigger. You need to bury, it's almost as if you're burying your head in the sand. And that sand is everything that you truly want in your life. I know that's kind of a weird analogy, but that's what it is. It's not distracting yourself, it's changing your state, what you associate pain and pleasure to. Because at the moment, you associate more pleasure with fapping than pleasure with working on your business or going to the gym or whatever. Make yourself want it. Anyways, I had something to get out of my chest, so I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that it helped you. Make sure to take life seriously. Peace.